Well, I just read a rather interesting article again on Newsmax. I'll attach the link, you're not going to have to look for it. The title is Jindal's Brilliant Take on Radical Islam. Now, according to this article, the Louisiana governor, Bobby Jindal, he's going to be giving a speech in London on Monday. Monday would make it the 19th of January 2015. And it starts off, it is the toughest speech I have read on the whole issue of Islamic radicalism and its destructive, murdering, barbarous ways which are upsetting the entire world. Early in his speech, Jindal says he's not going to be politically correct, and he uses the term, quote, radical Islamists, end of quote, without hesitation, placing much of the blame for the Paris murder and all radical Islamist terrorism on a refusal of Muslim leaders to denounce these acts. Jindal says, quote, Muslim leaders must make it clear that anyone who commits acts of terror in the name of Islam is in fact not practicing Islam at all. If they refuse to say this, then they are condoning these acts of barbarism. There is no middle ground, end of quote. Well, you know, he's actually right. The problem is, it's these Muslim leaders. These Muslim leaders are the ones that are inciting these Islamic terrorists, the mullahs. Then he adds, specifically, quote, Muslim leaders need to condemn anyone who commits these acts of violence and clearly state that these people are evil and are enemies of Islam. It's not enough to simply condemn violence. They must stand up and loudly proclaim that these people are not martyrs. They will receive a reward in the afterlife. Who will receive a reward in the afterlife? And rather, they are murderers who are going to hell. If they refuse to do that, then they're part of the problem. Once again, there is no middle ground here. Now, what's interesting is it also says that what Bobby Jindal is saying is very similar to what Egyptian President al-Asisi said earlier in the year to a group of Muslim imams. Sayyid al-Asisi said, it's inconceivable that the thinking we hold most sacred should cause the entire Ummah Islamic world to be a source of anxiety, danger, killing, and destruction for the rest of the world. He then asks, how is it possible that 1.6 billion Muslims should want to kill the rest of the world's inhabitants? That is 7 billion, so that they themselves may live. He concludes, if this is not changed, it may eventually lead to the religion's self-destruction. Well, first of all, it's not a religion, it's a cult. It's a theology. That's where this thing sort of gets off the rail, you know? And if you look at certain sections in the Quran, the extremists are following the words of Allah. They either convert, pay a tax, or they die. Now, that's not something that's not there. So what you've got, it's really similar to what Hitler did. Hitler found someone to blame, and they blamed the Jews, and then the Poles, and then the Hungarians. You got to find people to blame. And that's exactly what Muhammad did. But he went one step further. He blamed everyone that doesn't follow his words. The cult as defined in the Quran. It's really interesting. You want to read the whole article and then sort of come to your own conclusion. I think Bobby doesn't quite understand that, again, it is a cult. It's not a religion. And those that are slaughtering Christians are doing the work as defined by the Quran. That's sort of what I think. Read the article. Let me know what you think.